Speaking of courage, hundreds of people in China are standing up to the Communist Party. A protest has broken out. This is what courage in China looks like.
分子啊，受害者有罪论啊，公平！看一下警察啊，特警、武警，指导的说没用，就是两个字：公平。一圈警察把我们给包围了。
Why are these people protesting? Apparently, they are unable to withdraw money, their own money, from banks. China is witnessing bank runs again. A bank in Henan ran out of cash, so these people took to the streets to protest, and they're not alone in their suffering. For almost 2 months, thousands of people have faced such ordeals. Their life savings are at stake. Suddenly, 4 banks in Henan suspended cash withdrawals. These are the banks: Yuzhou Xinming Sheng Village Bank, Shanghai Huimin County Bank, Zekheng Wanghuai Community Bank, and New Oriental Country Bank of Kaifeng. Now, why have these 4 banks suddenly stopped withdrawals? Because these banks are caught up in a fraud scheme. It involves a shareholder, Henan New Fortune Group. It had ownership in all 4 of these banks. This group colluded with bank officials. The bank assets were used to illegally raise funds. Now, Chinese regulators have begun an investigation. I have a statement from them with me. This is what they've said. The biggest shareholder of the 4 lenders, Henan New Fortune Group, is suspected of raising funds illegally using online channels and third-party systems in collusion with bank insiders. What is the statement trying to convey? What really happened at these banks? Allow me to explain. Now, we all know how banks make money. They take deposits from account holders like you and me. Then they lend that same money to borrowers, sometimes also like you and me. They charge an interest on that loan. Now, when that money is paid back, the bank pays an interest to the depositors. And the interest on loans is higher than what you make on deposits. And this difference is the difference that we call a bank's profit. In China, the same banking system has gone online. Local banks often leverage assets on fintech platforms. They take deposits from people and they lend money to borrowers online. These banks promise high interest rates to account holders. And here is where the problem begins. These banks never make enough money on loans. The depositors come back for their money, they demand their interest, eventually the bank runs out of cash. China had banned banks from making such third-party transactions, but the practice has not stopped. Small and rural banks have now developed their own banking channels online. They're playing with the money of their depositors, and Beijing seems to be encouraging this. In the month of January, China asked banks to boost their lending. To whom? To the infamous real estate sector in China. Yes, those who are sitting on a $5 trillion debt pile. By the end of 2021, at least 11 Chinese developers had defaulted. There have been defaults this year as well. In May, Sunac China Holdings had to pay around $30 million. It defaulted. This company is China's 4th largest developer. Sunac has been in the spotlight for months. It has outstanding bonds worth around $7.7 billion. That's the highest for any Chinese developer. The company is not making any money. It is unable to sell its properties, so it defaulted. And it's not an exception. There are many like it. The defaults could double this year. In 2021, we saw 11 defaults. This year, we might witness 22. Goldman Sachs has released an assessment. It says 22 real estate businesses in China are in trouble. They have either defaulted on their bonds already, or they have deferred their payments. Now, with so many defaults, will any investor bet their money on the Chinese real estate market? Beijing wants its banks to make these loans. The depositors of these banks have a reason to be worried. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.